Next question is Radio France Internationale. Jeremy, can you hear us? Hello, do we have Jeremy from RFI?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. I just had a quick question regarding mass gatherings. Also, I heard that France is considering reopening movie theaters, for instance, and I would like to have your opinion on that. Do you think this kind of measure is too early? Because we can think of mass gatherings too in movie theaters where hundreds of people are sitting in the same place. So do you consider it to be a good measure or not? Thanks.
Yeah, I think we need to make a distinction here between what would classically be regarded as mass gatherings, which are large religious events, big sporting events where thousands and thousands of people come together and approach one point and then leave from a point, and they're coming potentially from across national boundaries or within national boundaries. So they're gathering events and they're large scale. They're often multinational and require and involve the movement, not just the presence of many people in an area, but potentially the movement of people to and from those areas. Movie theaters, churches, and other gatherings are more localized events, and they have to be dealt with within the local context. WHO can't prescribe to individual countries what exactly is to be done in every single context. What we do advise is anywhere where people gather, where they cannot maintain social distance or physical distance or appropriate hygiene, then there's always a risk in the presence of the virus that you may amplify the virus. And we've seen that, and there's plenty of evidence that has happened in the past. So as countries open up their economies and open up their societies, and as they look at different gatherings, be they religious or social gatherings that occur, they've got to calibrate the risks associated with those gatherings, which are based on how much virus is circulating in the area, so what is the absolute risk of exposure, and then what are the increased risks of being exposed in an environment where there are a number of people who cannot maintain physical distance or potentially maintain hygiene or other measures. And you can see within that many governments and companies, private and public, are looking at what are the measures that need to be put in place in, for example, restricting access to less than full capacity or some proportion of capacity, to having spacing between seating, to having extra hygiene and disinfection measures put in place, having online ticketing. There's lots of different measures that for each individual service or each individual gathering can be put in place, the same with churches. So again, as the Director General has said in his speech, exiting the more severe public health and social distancing or physical distancing measures or the lockdowns or stay-at-home orders and allowing people to re-engage in social and economic life must come with a risk-managed approach. How do we minimize the risk of transmission between individuals while obviously trying to maximize the way in which people can re-engage in their normal lives? And that is determined by the presence of the virus, that is determined by the risk of the encounter or the risk of the particular environment which people will come to, and the means and the ability of both the government, local governments, communities, and the private sector owners to minimize those risks to participants or to clients.